The Last Family Farm. Emma Harlan stood at the edge of the cornfield, the golden stalks swaying like a restless sea under the vast Iowa sky. It was late September, and the air carried the earthy scent of harvest. Soil turned over, leaves turning crisp. But for Emma, it was a scent laced with grief. Her father, Tom Harland, had died just 2 weeks ago, a sudden heart attack while fixing the old John Deere tractor in the barn. He was 65, stubborn as the clay soil he tilled, and now he was gone, leaving behind 200 acres of debt-ridden land and a daughter who had fled this life years ago. Emma had grown up here in the rolling farmlands outside Ames, where the horizon stretched forever, and the nearest neighbor was a mile down a gravel road. As a kid, she'd loved it, the freedom of running through the fields, helping her dad plant soybeans in spring, watching fireflies dance at dusk. But by high school, the farm felt like a cage. The endless work, the unpredictable weather, the slim margins that left her parents arguing over bills. She'd escaped to Chicago after college, building a career in marketing for a tech startup. City lights, coffee shops, weekends without mud on her boots. Now, at 32, she was back, staring at the farmhouse that looked smaller than she remembered, its white paint peeling like old memories. The lawyer's office in town had been straightforward. The farm was hers, lock, stock, and silo, but so were the loans. $250,000 owed to the bank, plus back taxes. Corporate agribusiness giants like AgriCorp had been sniffing around for years, offering buyouts that could wipe the slate clean. "It's a good deal, Emma," the lawyer had said, sliding papers across his desk. "Your dad held out, but times have changed. Family farms are dinosaurs." She kicked at a clod of dirt, watching it crumble. Sell it all? Erase generations of Harlans who had worked this land since the 1800s? Or fight like her dad always had? The thought twisted her gut. She wasn't a farmer. She knew spreadsheets and social media campaigns, not soil pH or crop rotation. That evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in oranges and pinks, Emma wandered into the barn. Dust motes danced in the fading light, and the air smelled of hay and oil. Her dad's workbench was cluttered as ever, tools scattered, notebooks piled high. She picked one up, flipping through pages of his scrawled handwriting. Crop yields, weather notes, fertilizer trials. Then toward the back, something different. Sketches of irrigation systems, notes on microbial soil enhancers, references to regenerative agriculture. Words like mycorrhizal fungi and cover cropping integration jumped out. It looked like a mad scientist journal, not a farmer's log. "What were you up to, Dad?" she whispered, tracing a diagram of a field divided into zones. A knock at the barn door startled her. "Emma, that you?" She turned to see a man in his mid-30s, tall with sun-bleached hair and an easy smile, wearing jeans and a faded Iowa State sweatshirt. He held a casserole dish covered in foil. "Jake Thompson here. I was a friend of your dad's, agronomist over at the extension office. Brought some food, my mom's famous lasagna. Figured you might not feel like cooking." Emma nodded, taking the dish. "Thanks. I remember you from high school. You were a couple years ahead, right? Star of the debate team?" He chuckled. "Guilty. And you were the one who organized that environmental club. Small world, huh?" They sat on hay bales, the lasagna warming the chilly air. Jake talked about her dad, how Tom had been experimenting with sustainable methods to combat soil erosion and drought. "He was on to something big," Jake said, eyes lighting up. "A hybrid system, no-till farming combined with bioengineered cover crops and precision microbial inoculants. Could boost yields by 20% without chemicals, restore the soil. He was testing it on that back 40 acres." Her brow furrowed. He never mentioned it. Why keep a secret? Probably didn't want to jinx it, or maybe he knew AgriCorp would try to steal it. They've been buying up patents left and right. The conversation stretched into the night. Jake's passion was infectious, talking about carbon sequestration, water retention, how this could save not just the Harlan farm, but dozens like it in the county. By the time he left, Emma felt a spark she hadn't in years. Maybe this was her dad's legacy, not just dirt and debt. The next morning, Emma drove into town for supplies. Ames was a college town, buzzing with Iowa State students, but the farm co-op felt timeless. Farmers in Carhartt jackets swapping stories over coffee. She overheard grumbles about AgriCorp, lowball offers, pressure tactics, rumors of contaminated wells near their mega farms. Back home, she dove into her dad's notes. It was overwhelming, scientific terms she had to Google on her spotty rural Wi-Fi. But patterns emerged. He'd partnered quietly with a university lab, sourcing fungi that formed symbiotic relationships with plant roots, pulling nutrients from deeper soil layers. Combined with drone-mapped irrigation and legume cover crops, it was a closed-loop system. Less water, no pesticides, healthier land. Torn, Emma called her best friend in Chicago. Sell it. Start fresh. You hate the farm life. But that night, dreams of her dad haunted her. His calloused hands, his laugh echoing across the fields. In the morning, she made a decision. She'd try, at least long enough to see if his invention worked. Jake became her guide. He showed up the next day with soil samples and a truckload of enthusiasm. "Let's test it," he said. "Your dad's plot is ready. We can expand it." As they work, Emma learned, shoveling compost, planting rye as a winter cover, inoculating seeds with the fungi mix. Jake was patient, explaining how industrial farming had stripped the Midwest topsoil, leading to runoff that poisoned rivers. "This fights back," he said, "regenerates the earth." Attraction simmered between them, shared laughs over lunch, his hand brushing hers as they pored over data. But Emma kept it professional. She had doubts about the farm, about staying, about herself. Word spread. At the weekly farmers market in town, old-timers approached her. "Heard you're keeping the place," said old Mr. Wilkins, his face weathered like bark. "Good on ya. AgriCorp's been hounding me too." Emma shared her dad's notes. A small group formed. Wilkins, the Larsons from down the road, a young couple new to organic farming. They met in her barn, dubbing themselves the Regen Rebels. Jake led workshops, demonstrating the technique. "It's scalable," he insisted. "We prove it here, we can license it, help everyone." But AgriCorp noticed. One afternoon, a sleek black SUV pulled up the driveway. Out stepped Marcus Hale, a sharp-suited executive with a predatory smile. "Miss Harland," he handed her a card, "we're prepared to offer $1.2 million for the property. Cash. You could walk away rich." Emma's heart raced. That was life-changing money. Pay off debts, buy a condo in the city. "Why so much?" she asked. Hale's eyes flicked to the barn. "We admire innovation. Your father's work. Intriguing. But let's be real. Farming's a gamble. Weather, markets. We're the future. Efficient. Productive." She refused. Hale left with a warning. Opportunities like this don't last. Pressure mounted. The bank called about overdue payments. A storm hit, flooding fields, but her dad's test plot held firm, the cover crops absorbing water like a sponge. Data poured in. Higher nutrient levels, better yields. It was working. The group grew. 10 farmers now, pooling resources for a co-op trial. Emma organized it all, her marketing skills shining, creating flyers, a simple website. "Save Our Soil," she called the initiative. Local news picked it up. "Iowa farmers fight back with green tech." Jake confessed his feelings one evening as they watched the sunset from the porch. "You're amazing, Emma. Staying here? It's brave. She kissed him, the world feeling right for the first time since her dad's death. But doubts lingered. Was this her life now? Mud and uncertainty? AgriCorp escalated. Rumors swirled, anonymous calls threatening liens, a suspicious fire at Wilkins' silo. Then a letter arrived, AgriCorp claiming patent infringement on similar tech. They stole it, Jake fumed. Your dad shared samples with a lab tech who must have leaked. Emma rallied the group. We fight legally. Document everything. They hired a lawyer from Des Moines, a fiery environmentalist named Lena Cruz. This is bigger than your farm, she said. If we win, it sets precedent. The climax came at the county fair. Booths of pies and livestock, the air thick with fried dough and manure. The Regen rebels set up a demo. Soil samples under microscopes, charts showing results. Crowds gathered, farmers, students, even reporters. Hale appeared with an entourage, announcing AgriCorp's new sustainable line. It was a ripoff of Tom's work. Coincidence? Hale smirked when confronted. Emma took the stage, microphone in hand. This isn't about corporations profiting off our land. It's about legacy. My dad believed in healing the earth, not exploiting it. Join us. Regenerate. Don't dominate. The crowd cheered. Farmers signed up for trials. A viral video from a student's phone spread. #SaveOurSoil trending. But Hale cornered her afterward. You'll lose everything. We have resources. Jake stepped in. So do we. Community. The lawsuit dragged on. Evidence mounted. Emails proving the leak. Cruz argued brilliantly. In court, Emma testified, voice steady. This land is my father's heart. I won't let greed bury it. They won. The judge ruled in their favor. AgriCorp fined. The patent voided. The technique went open source, shared via the co-op. Emma stood in the field months later, spring planting underway. Yields were up, soil richer. Jake proposed under the old oak tree, ring glinting in the sun. She said yes. The farm wasn't a cage anymore, it was home. Legacy preserved, resilience earned. Word count, 1,248. Wait, that's not 4,000. I need to expand this significantly to reach 4,000. Let's flesh it out with more details, subplots, dialogues, descriptions. The last family farm. The wind whipped through the cornfields like a mournful sigh as Emma Harlan pulled her rental car up the gravel driveway of the old farm. It was a crisp autumn day in rural Iowa, the kind where the sky seemed endless and the air smelled of earth and impending rain. October 2025 had brought an early chill, and Emma shivered as she stepped out, her city boots sinking slightly into the soft ground. She hadn't been back here in 3 years, not since her dad's birthday, when they'd argued about her wasting away in that concrete jungle. Now, he was gone, and the farm was hers. Tom Harlan had died suddenly, a heart attack, while out checking the fences. The doctor said it was the stress, years of fighting against the odds, the droughts, the falling commodity prices. At 65, he was still out there every day, his hands calloused from decades of labor. Emma, at 32, felt a pang of guilt. She'd left for Chicago after college, chasing a career in digital marketing. The fast-paced world of startups, latte-fueled meetings, and skyline views had seemed like freedom. But now, standing in front of the weathered white farmhouse, it all felt hollow. Inside the house was frozen in time. The kitchen table bore scratches from family dinners. The fridge hummed with the same low rumble. Emma dropped her bag and headed to the living room, where her dad's recliner sat empty, a stack of Farm Journal magazines on the side table. The lawyer had called her the day after the funeral. The will is simple. The land, the equipment, it's all yours. But so are the debts. She met Mr. Peterson in his small office in Ames the next morning. The town was a mix of college energy from Iowa State University and the quiet resolve of farming folk. Peterson, a balding man in his 50s with a kind but firm demeanor, laid out the papers. 200 acres, prime land, but loans totaled $250,000 plus taxes. AgriCorp has made an offer, $900,000. It's generous, Emma. Your dad turned them down multiple times. But, well, times are tough for family farms. AgriCorp. The name made her stomach turn. They were one of those massive agribusiness conglomerates, swallowing up small operations across the Midwest, turning diverse fields into monoculture seas of genetically modified corn and soy. Efficient, profitable, but soulless. Dad hated them, she said softly. Peterson nodded. He did, said they were killing the soil. But think about it. You could pay everything off, start fresh in the city. Emma drove back to the farm, the weight of the decision pressing on her. Sell and run, or stay and fight a losing battle? She wasn't a farmer. She knew how to craft viral campaigns, not how to plant a crop. That evening, as the sun set in a blaze of orange, she wandered into the barn. The air was thick with the scent of hay and machine oil. Tools hung on the walls, organized in her dad's meticulous way. On the workbench, a stack of notebooks caught her eye. She flipped open one, pages filled with his blocky handwriting, crop rotations, yield calculations, weather observations. But deeper in, something different emerged. Sketches of field layouts, notes on mycorrhizal networks, references to regenerative practices. Test plot, fungi inoculation plus cover crop mix. Week 4, soil carbon up 12%. It read like a scientist's journal, not a farmer's log. What had he been working on? A knock echoed through the barn. Hello, Emma? She turned to see a man silhouetted in the doorway, holding a covered dish. He stepped into the light, tall, broad-shouldered, with sun-kissed blonde hair and a warm smile. Jeans, boots, a flannel shirt rolled up to the elbows. Jake Thompson, I was a friend of your dad's. Work as an agronomist at the county extension office. Brought some food, my sister's chicken casserole. Thought you might need it. She took the dish, the warmth seeping through the foil. Thanks. I think I remember you from high school. You were on the football team? He chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. Debate team, actually. But yeah, small town. You were the one who started that environmental club junior year. Impressive. They sat on old milk crates, sharing the casserole under the barn's single bulb. Jake spoke of her dad with reverence. Tom was a visionary. He came to me a couple years ago with ideas about sustainable farming. We collaborated on some trials. He was developing a system, combining no-till methods with bio-enhanced cover crops and microbial inoculants. Could revolutionize small farms, make them viable again without relying on chemicals. Emma's eyes widened. He never told me? Why the secrecy? Probably didn't want to get your hopes up until it worked. But it was working, Emma. That back 40 acres, it's a test site. Yields are up, soil health improving. If scaled, it could save places like this from corporations like AgriCorp. As Jake talked, his passion ignited something in her. The way his eyes lit up when describing how fungi formed symbiotic relationships with plant roots, pulling water and nutrients from deeper layers. How legume cover crops fix nitrogen naturally, reducing fertilizer costs. It was science meets nature, a way to heal the land her family had stewarded for generations. By the time Jake left, the stars were out, twinkling above the silent fields. Emma sat alone, notebook in hand, feeling a pull she couldn't ignore. Maybe this was her dad's final gift, a chance to honor his legacy. The next few days blurred into a frenzy of discovery. Emma pored over the notebooks, her laptop open to research tabs. Terms like carbon sequestration and biodiversity enhancement became her new vocabulary. Her dad's system was ingenious, a closed-loop approach where cover crops like rye and clover were planted between cash crops, preventing erosion and building soil organic matter. Microbial mixes, bacteria, and fungi sourced from a university lab boosted plant resilience to drought and pests. No more heavy tillage that compacted the soil, instead precision planting with minimal disturbance. Emma called her best friend Sarah in Chicago. "It's overwhelming," she confessed over the phone. "Part of me wants to sell and go back to normal life." Sarah was practical. "Do it, Em. You're not cut out for this. Remember how you hated the mud as a kid? Come home, we'll get margaritas and forget Iowa." But that night, sleep evaded her. Memories flooded in, helping Dad harvest soybeans at 10, the combine's roar vibrating through her bones, his stories of great-grandpa homesteading the land in 1880, surviving blizzards and locusts, Mom's garden vibrant with tomatoes and herbs before cancer took her. Emma had left to escape the pain, but now it called her back. Morning brought clarity. She texted Jake, "Let's see this test plot." He arrived in his pickup, tools in the bed. They walked the fields, the ground soft underfoot. The back 40 was a contrast to the rest, lush even as fall set in. "Look at this," Jake said, kneeling to dig a handful of soil. It was dark, crumbly, alive with worms. "Your dad's control plot over there? Pale, compacted. This is regeneration." They spent the day sampling, Jake explaining the data. pH balanced, nutrients high. If we expand this, the farm could turn profitable in 2 seasons. Emma felt a surge of purpose. "Okay, I'm in. At least for now." Word spread fast in a small community. At the co-op in Ames, farmers nodded knowingly. "Heard you're keeping the Harlan place," said old Mr. Wilkins, a veteran with a gravelly voice and a limp. "Good. AgriCorp's been circling my farm like vultures." Others followed. The Larsons, a middle-aged couple with 150 acres of corn, Mia and Carlos Ruiz, young transplants from California dreaming of organic produce, Mrs. Becker, a widow running a small dairy operation. They formed a loose group, meeting in Emma's barn every Thursday. Jake led the sessions, demonstrating inoculant application, discussing crop rotations. Emma's marketing skills shone. She created a simple website, Iowa Region Network, with photos of the test plot and testimonials. Social media posts gained traction. Hashtag #SaveFamilyFarms, trending locally. The group grew to 10, pooling money for bulk supplies. But doubts crept in. Emma missed her city life, the buzz of offices, weekend brunches. One rainy night, she cried in the kitchen, questioning everything. Jake found her there, offering a hug. "It's okay to be scared. Your dad was too, but he believed in this." Their connection deepened, shared dinners, long talks by the fire. Jake's own story emerged. His family lost their farm to bankruptcy when he was 12. He worked through college, becoming an agronomist to help others avoid that fate. "This is personal," he said. Mid-October brought a storm, thunder rolling across the plains, rain pounding like bullets. Fields flooded, roads turned to mud. Jake and Emma rushed out at dawn, checking damage. The main crops were hit hard, stalks bent and drowned. But the test plot, the cover crops had absorbed the water, roots holding the soil firm. "Minimal erosion," Jake said, grinning despite the mess. "This works." Data from soil tests confirmed it. 30% higher water retention, nutrients intact. The group celebrated with the potluck, stories flowing with the beer. Wilkins shared war tales from Vietnam, how resilience saved him. The Ruizes talked of their immigrant journey, seeking the American dream in Iowa soil. As the group bonded, romance sparked between Emma and Jake. A walk in the fields one evening, hands brushing. "You're bringing hope back here," he said. "And you're showing me how," she replied. Their kiss soft under the twilight sky. But AgriCorp loomed, and black SUV arrived one afternoon. Marcus Hale, slip in a suit, stepped out with a briefcase. "Miss Harlan, let's talk business. $1.2 million for the land, immediate payment." She crossed her arms. "Why the interest?" We value innovation. Your father's notes, we've heard rumors, but farming is risky. Let us handle it. She refused. Hale left with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Don't wait too long, offers expire. Pressure built. Anonymous calls at night, whispers of liens. Wilkins' silo burned. Arson, the sheriff said, but no leads. The Ruizes found their fences cut, livestock loose. Emma investigated. Digging through Dad's emails, she found correspondence with Dr. Ellis at the university lab. Ellis had AgriCorp connections. A phone call confirmed suspicions. I may have shared samples for research. Betrayal stung. The group rallied, installing cameras, watching each other's backs. The county fair in November was their platform. Booths lined the grounds, pie contests, livestock shows, the air sweet with fried food. The region network set up a demo, microscopes showing soil microbes, charts of yields. Crowds gathered, farmers nodding approval. Hale appeared, announcing AgriCorp's Ecoline products, a blatant copy. Sustainable farming for the future, he boasted. Emma took the microphone. This isn't sustainability, it's theft. My dad created this to save family farms, not line corporate pockets. Join us. Regenerate our land. The crowd erupted. Sign-ups poured in. A student's video went viral. National news picking it up. AgriCorp retaliated. Lawsuit filed. Patent infringement. Bank accounts frozen. Emma hired Lena Cruz, a Des Moines lawyer specializing in environmental cases. We've got evidence of theft. Whistleblowers inside AgriCorp. The trial was grueling. Courtroom packed with farmers, testimonies, experts on soil degradation, group members on losses to corporate takeovers. Emma on the stand. This land is my family's heart. Dad's tech is his legacy for all of us. Climax in closing arguments. Cruz demolished AgriCorp's claims. Verdict? Win. Fines levied. Tech declared open source. Spring 2026 bloomed green. The farm thrived, co-op now 50 strong. Yields up 25%, soil healthier. Emma and Jake married under the old oak, rings exchanged amid cheers. Emma stood in the field, hand on her growing belly. We did it, Dad, she whispered. The land endured, resilient as ever.